Let's dive into the fundamentals of a significant location. Picture the Strait of Hormuz, a crucial maritime passage nestled between Iran and Oman and the UAE. At its narrowest point, it stretches just 21 miles, acting as the sole sea route connecting the Persian Gulf to the vast open ocean. Imagine it as a gateway. On one side lies the Persian Gulf, rich in valuable oil fields. Think of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, the UAE, and Qatar. On the other, the vastness of the world beyond. Asia, Europe, America. Every supertanker departing these Gulf states must navigate through this very doorway. Approximately 20% of the globe's oil and nearly 1/5 of liquefied natural gas traverses through this strait. That equates to around 20 million barrels of oil daily. For context, the entire United States consumes about 20 million barrels a day. On a typical day, the Strait of Hormuz handles enough oil to fuel the whole American economy. But right now, it's anything but a typical day. To grasp why this matters to you, even if the Strait of Hormuz is unfamiliar, just follow the oil trail. A supertanker departs Ras Tanura, Saudi Arabia, one of the largest oil terminals globally. It sails through the strait, across the Indian Ocean, reaching Japan, South Korea, China, India. These nations transform it into fuel. That fuel drives factories. Those factories produce electronics, clothing, and food packaging. Those products are shipped worldwide, landing to near you. The whole chain starts right here, in that 21-mile stretch between Iran and Oman. A former Qatari minister captured it well. The Strait of Hormuz is not merely an oil choke point. It acts as the aortic valve of global production. When that valve fails, the entire circulatory system collapses. And we're witnessing that collapse unfold right now. Iran has always understood the Strait of Hormuz represents its most powerful weapon. For years, amid rising tensions with the West, Tehran would threaten to close it. Yet, the world doubted they would ever act on it. Then came February 28, 2026. Following the US-Israel strikes on Iran, including the elimination of Supreme Leader Khamenei, Iran's Revolutionary Guard officially declared the strait closed, warning against any ship that tried to pass. The reaction from the shipping industry was immediate and overwhelming. Daily transits through the strait plummeted by 90 to 95% within mere days, according to Kepler, a shipping intelligence firm. Hundreds of tankers found themselves stuck in the Persian Gulf with no way out. Iran's Revolutionary Guard transformed the strait into a military checkpoint, attacking merchant vessels, issuing warnings to others, turning the passage into a conflict zone. By mid-March, Iran had executed over 21 confirmed assaults on merchant ships. The cost to ensure a tanker passage skyrocketed, rising from a mere fraction of a percent to between 3.5 and 10% of the ship's overall value for each crossing. That isn't just a risk premium, it's akin to a death sentence for global shipping. Yet, Iran did not simply close the strait, it took that audacious step further. It became a toll booth. Vessels seeking passage must now submit detailed cargo, crew lists, and destinations to intermediaries sanctioned by the IRGC, obtain a clearance code, and be escorted through Iranian waters. Reports indicate at least 2 vessels have shelled out $2 million per crossing, paid in Chinese yuan. Consider the implications. Iran, a nation under heavy military attack, has effectively commercialized one of the most vital international waterways and is charging for access. Now, Iranian lawmakers are weighing a motion to formalize this arrangement permanently, mandating all nations utilizing the strait to pay tolls. An advisor to the new supreme leader has even mentioned a new regime for the Strait of Hormuz post-conflict. Iran has even added a new prerequisite to peace talks: formal acknowledgement of its sovereignty over the Strait, a demand it never expressed before the conflict started. The U.S. responded promptly. Secretary of State Marco Rubio deemed it illegal and unacceptable, while G7 foreign ministers stressed the urgent need to restore unimpeded navigation. But for the moment, Iran holds the keys to that door, and it is acutely aware of that power. The economic fallout has been staggering, and it continues to escalate. Oil prices surged following this crisis faster than in any other modern conflict. Brent crude exceeded $100 per barrel for the first time in 4 years, eventually hitting a peak of $126. The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas calculated the numbers. A closure of the Strait, removing 20% of global oil supplies, is projected to cut global GDP growth by almost 3 percentage points, a shock akin to the 1973 oil crisis. The repercussions extend well beyond the pump. Iraq, the sixth largest oil producer globally, was compelled to reduce production by 70% as most of its exports traverse the Strait. Saudi Arabia halted operations at its largest oil refinery, which processed over 500,000 barrels daily. Major energy firms like Shell and Qatar Energy invoked force majeure, a legal statement distancing themselves from fulfilling contracts due to extraordinary circumstances. This had never happened before in the Gulf region. It's not solely oil at stake. Qatar's LNG export capacity has faced significant damage, with experts estimating it may take 3 to 5 years to fully recover. Prices for aluminum, fertilizer, helium, and food are all on the rise. Everything traces back to that 21 miles of water. The evident question arises: can the world simply go around? The quick answer is, barely. Omani ports such as Duqm, Salalah, and Sohar lie outside the Strait on the Arabian Sea, theoretically permitting tankers to bypass this choke point entirely through Omani waters. But Iran anticipated that too. In March 2026, drones targeted both Duqm and Salalah, damaging fuel storage at Duqm and rendering even these alternate routes perilous. Saudi Arabia rerouted some production through its east-west pipeline, aiming to reach the Red Sea port of Yanbu. However, that pipeline's capacity is minimal compared to what's required. Some nations have received exemptions. Iran announced ships from China, Russia, India, Iraq, and Pakistan would be allowed to transit, a deliberate geopolitical maneuver to fracture international opposition. Pakistan secured a deal allowing 20 vessels to cross, 2 ships daily, which Islamabad characterized as a significant advancement. Yet, compared to the historical average of 138 vessels daily, it is merely a trickle. Between March 1st and 25th, there were only 142 total transits through the Strait. Yet, during the same period last year, over 2,600 transits occurred. The world is not bypassing the Strait of Hormuz. It's suffocating without it. So, how does this conclude? Shipping and insurance experts believe the situation won't normalize until the war significantly diminishes. And even post-agreement, it may take weeks or months for shipping dynamics to stabilize. 3 potential futures exist. Scenario 1. A peace accord is reached before April 6th. The U.S. refrains from striking Iranian energy assets. Iran consents to denuclearization. The Strait gradually reopens. Oil prices decline, and the world breathes a sigh of relief. But Iran retains its newfound leverage. The tolls and sovereignty issues remain unresolved. Scenario 2. Strikes on Iranian energy facilities persist. Iran retaliates more fiercely, keeping the Strait closed through summer. Oil prices soar to $150, triggering a global recession. Nations reliant on Gulf oil, Japan, South Korea, India, much of Europe, face energy crises. Scenario 3. A frozen standoff emerges. No agreements, no escalation, just a prolonged stalemate. The the world adapts slowly, at enormous expense. Iran forever alters the dynamics controlling this waterway. The UN Secretary General has indicated that this conflict is now entirely out of hand and that diplomacy must take precedence. He is correct. For what unfolds in those next 21 miles will shape the next 21 years to come. If this video has aided your understanding of one of the world's most significant stories right now, please subscribe, share, and leave your questions below. We'll cover every development as it unfolds.